Hello, hello everyone. In continuation of the previous lecture, I am going to discuss analytic function. In analytic function, this word analytic is very important and it is used in daily life. For example, a, a boy has a mind of analytical approach, meaning thereby whenever you are talking about the analytic word, analytic means careful examination of things in details. Careful examination of things in detail. This indicates the analyticity of the word. So I am going to discuss analytic function. Here, a function, I told you earlier, a function f is complex variable function, and as per your syllabus concern, a function must be single valued function. So I am going to define analytic function. Please write the definition. A single valued function fz of complex variable z is said to be analytic. Is said to be analytic function, analytic at a point z0 if fz is differentiable. If fz is differentiable at all the points in the neighborhood of z0 including z0 So definition, I have written their definition. A single valued function fz of a complex variable z is said to be analytic at a point z0 if fz is differentiable at all the points in the neighborhood of z0 including z0. Whenever you are going to talk about the neighborhood, I told you the neighborhood of z0 means the set of all the points which satisfies mod of z0 is less than delta, where delta is very small number, very small positive real number. So analytic function, meaning thereby a function fz is said to be analytic function if it is differentiable. It may happen for a function to be analytic, it must be differentiable at that point. So we can write note number 1. If there may be some finite number of points in a domain at which f of z is not differentiable, then these points are known as singular points. Sometimes or singularities of FZ. Singularities of FZ. Sometimes it is called singularities of FZ. Number two, note number two. It may happen with a function FZ that it is differentiable at each point of its domain D, then FZ is called the regular function. FZ is called a regular function. So, whenever you are going to discuss an analytic function, I have written there a single valued function fz of complex variable z is said to be analytic at a point z0 if fz is differentiable at all the points in the neighborhood of z0 including z0. And the neighborhood of z0 meaning thereby कि if there is a very small Cauchy number delta, mod of z minus z0 is less than delta. This set is the set of points. This is the set of points of a circle lies inside the circle having center z0 and radius delta. So we can say a function is analytic at a point, meaning thereby it is differentiable at that point as well as in the neighborhood of that point. Now I have written the note, if there may be some finite number of points in the domain at which fz is not differentiable, then these points are known as singular points or singularities of fz, which will be discussed detail in the later on. And the second point I have written in the note, it may happen with the function fz that it is differentiable at each point of its domain, then fz is called a regular function, meaning thereby a regular function is synonyms of analytic function. Meaning thereby regular function is synonyms of analytic function, may be treated as synonyms. Now we consider some examples of analytic function. Example number 1. A polynomial in terms of z given by f of z is equal to a0, a1 z, a2 z square, a3 z cube plus an z to the power n is differentiable everywhere. Therefore, fz is analytic function. Fz is analytic everywhere. Example number 2. Example number 2. Fz is equals e to the power of z. Another example, we can say f1 gz, we can say gz is equal to sin z, phi z is equal to cos z. Cos z are examples of our analytic function, are analytic everywhere. Now I am taking the example number 3. Example number 3. If we consider if fz is equals 1 upon z and gz is equals log z, then fz and gz are not analytic at z is equal to 0. And we can say in this example fz and gz are analytic everywhere except at z is equal to 0. So I have taken 2 examples. Number 1, a polynomial in terms of z. You know polynomial meaning thereby an expression containing more than 2 terms, many terms we can say. A polynomial means an expression containing many terms. So I have taken an example, fz is equal to, there are n terms, a0, z, a1 z, a2 z square, a3 z cube, dash dash dash, an z to the power n is a polynomial of n degree in terms of z. And we know that every polynomial function is differentiable everywhere. Therefore, this fz is also differentiable everywhere, and hence this function fz is analytic everywhere. In the second example, I have taken fz is equals e to the power z, gz is equals sin z, phi z is equal to cos z. You know exponential function, sine function, cosine function are differentiable everywhere. Therefore, these are the examples of analytic function, and these are the functions which are analytic everywhere. In the third example, I have taken fz is equals 1 by z. You know it is very simple that fz is equal to 1 by z is not differentiable at z is equal to 0. Where I have taken gz is equal to log z, it is not differentiable at z is equal to 0. Whereas fz is differentiable everywhere except z is equal to 0, and gz is also differentiable everywhere except z is equal to 0. So fz and gz may be fz and gz are not analytic at z is equal to 0, and we can say fz and gz are analytic everywhere except z is equal to 0. These are the examples of analytic function. Now, as per your syllabus concern, we are going to deal with Cauchy-Riemann equation. Cauchy-Riemann equation is the set of equations, set of 2 equations. We can say the set of 2 partial equations, partial differential equations, we can say, on which the function fz is analytic. Then we can check, then this function must satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So I am going to write Cauchy-Riemann equation and as a theorem. Cauchy-Riemann equation. Statement, we can say a single valued function we can say, I'm going to write in other way. The necessary condition for a function, for a single valued function, E of object is equal to u of xy plus I times v of xy to be analytic if the four partial derivatives del u upon del x, del u upon del y, del v upon del x and del v upon del y exist and satisfying the equation del u upon del x is equal to del v upon del y and del u upon del y is equal to minus times del v upon del x. This equation 1 is known as Cauchy-Riemann equation. This equation 1 is known as Cauchy-Riemann equation. This equation 1 is known as Cauchy-Riemann equation. In short, we can say CR equation. This equation 1 is known as Cauchy-Riemann equation. Look at the statement given. Cauchy-Riemann equation is what? It is a set of two equations, partial differential equation we can say, is known as Cauchy-Riemann equation. But what condition is going to be what condition is written in the statement? The necessary condition for a single valued function fz to be analytic if the four partial derivatives del u upon del x, del u upon del x, del u upon del y, meaning thereby the partial differential coefficient of u with respect to x and partial differential coefficient of u with respect to y and partial differential coefficient of v with respect to x, partial differential coefficient of v with respect to y exist and satisfying this equation. So from this statement it is very clear that if a function is analytic, then it must satisfy these equations. And these equation meaning thereby if a function is analytic means that it must satisfy Cauchy-Riemann equation. But it is not sufficient condition. Meaning thereby a function which is going to be satisfying Cauchy-Riemann equation is not necessarily analytic function. We shall show that by taking an example. But first we try to establish this formula, Cauchy-Riemann equation, with the help of this theorem. So I am going to prove this statement. What is given? It is given that fz is analytic. And it is also given the partial derivatives this and this exist. Then you have to prove del u upon del x is equal to del v upon del y, del u upon del y is equal to minus times del v upon del x. This is the statement. So I am going to take what is given. Here it is given fz is analytic. Fz is equal to u plus I times v is analytic. What is u? U means u of xy and v means v of xy. It is given. Let this function abject which is u of xy plus I times v of xy is analytic at any arbitrary point point z is equals x plus iy in its domain. It is given abject is analytic. I am taking this function abject is analytic at any arbitrary point z, and we shall establish the formula Cauchy-Riemann equation. What is the meaning of a function to be analytic? A function is analytic means a function will be differentiable at that point. So, in continuation of this proof, I am going to write since abject is equals to u xy plus iv xy is analytic at z x plus iy, therefore its derivative f dash z, that is d upon dz abject, that is limit delta z tending to 0 f of z plus delta z minus abject upon delta z exists and is same for all possible paths along which delta z tending to 0. Now, first we find limit delta z tending to 0 f of z plus delta z minus fz upon delta z. Since f of z is equal to u plus iv, where u is written as u of xy and v is written as v of xy, therefore f of z plus delta z will be equal to u of x plus delta x, u plus delta u plus I times v plus delta v. This can be written as so f of z plus delta z minus fz will be equal to u plus delta u plus I times v plus delta v minus fz is u plus iv, so we can write u plus I times v. On simplifying, we can say f of z plus delta z minus fz is equal to this u and this u has cancelled, and this v and this v will be cancelled, I times here and I times here, so we can get delta u plus I times delta v. This is fz plus f of z plus delta z minus fz. So f dash z is now equal to limit delta z tending to 0 f of z plus delta z minus fz upon delta z will be equal to limit delta z tending to 0 u delta u plus I times delta v upon delta z. That is f dash z is equal to limit delta z tending to 0 delta u plus I times delta v upon delta z. Here we can say limit delta z tending to 0 delta u upon delta z plus I times delta v upon delta z. This is taken as equation number 2 because I have taken equation 1 as a Cauchy-Riemann equation which is to be established here. So it is very clear. Let me explain. Since fz is equals u plus I times bxy is analytic at z is equal to x plus iy, therefore its derivative f dash z is equal to d upon dz fz means that limit delta z tending to 0 f of z plus delta z minus fz upon delta z exists and same for all possible paths along which delta z tending to 0. Meaning thereby this limit will exist and same along all possible paths at which delta z tending to 0. I am going to write the value of this f dash z and then after I will choose the path, possible path. Here in this case I will choose only two paths when delta z is tending to 0 along real axis and delta z tending to 0 along imaginary axis. I am going to choose here. First I have simplified this f dash z limit delta z tending to 0 f of z plus delta z minus fz upon delta z. Since we know fz is equal to u plus I times v where u is a function of xy and v is also a function of xy. Therefore f of z plus delta z is equals u plus delta u plus I times v plus delta v. So f of z plus delta z minus fz. Fz is u plus iv. F of z plus delta z is u plus delta u plus I times v plus delta v is going to be subtracted. This is taken subtraction subtracted from this. We can get f of z plus delta z minus fz is u plus delta u plus I times v plus delta v minus u plus I times v. This minus and this minus plus is cancelled. I times v is here and here is minus I times v will be cancelled. The terms remaining in this is delta u plus I times delta v. This is f of z plus delta z minus fz is delta u plus I times delta v. So f dash z will be equal to limit delta z tending to 0 f of z plus delta z minus fz upon delta z is equal to limit delta z tending to 0 delta u plus I times delta v upon delta z. f dash z is equal to limit delta z tending to 0 delta u plus I times delta v upon delta z, and so we can write limit delta z tending to 0 delta u upon delta z plus I times delta v upon delta z. This is taken as equation number 2 because I have taken the first equation as a Cauchy-Riemann equation which is to be established here. Now I am taking the two paths along which delta z is tending to 0. Let us take two paths along which delta z is tending to 0. Number 1, let delta z is tending to 0 along real axis. You know what is real axis? X axis. It is very obvious that whenever you are walking on x axis, you will find the values of y all over on x axis is 0. And we know z is x plus iy. So whenever you are going to write the value of z on x-axis or between their real axis, the imaginary part y is 0. So z will be equal to x, because on real axis, the value, real axis means x-axis, the value of y is always 0. So when delta z is tending to 0 along real axis, then in that case, imaginary part of z is equal to y is equal to 0. That is, z is equal to x, and delta z is equal to delta x. Delta z is equal to delta x. Thus, f dash z is now equal to limit delta z is tending to 0 from 2. From 2 we can write delta z tending to 0, delta u upon delta x, sorry z, plus I times delta b upon delta z. This can be written as limit delta x tending to 0, delta u upon delta x, plus I times limit delta x tending to 0, delta b upon delta x. You know, it is very obvious that u is a function of xy, u is a function of xy, b is also function of xy. So delta u upon delta x tending to 0 is nothing but it is a del u upon del x. By using the definition of partial differentiation, and this is I del b upon del y. Though f dash z is now equal to, this is taken as equation number 3. I have taken the two paths along which delta z tending to 0. Number 1, let delta z is tending to 0 along real axis. Real axis means x-axis. In that case, on real axis, you know y, value of y is 0. So imaginary part of z is y equal to 0, and z is x plus iy. Since y is 0 on x-axis, so z becomes x. So z becomes x, and in that case delta z will becomes delta x. So from equation 2 we can say f dash z is limit delta z tending to 0, delta u upon delta z, plus I times delta b upon delta x z. In this case delta z becomes delta x, so we can write delta x tending to 0 at the place of limit delta z tending to 0, and at the place of delta z we can write delta x, so it becomes delta u upon delta x, plus I times limit delta x tending to 0, delta b upon delta x. By the definition of partial differentiation, this f dash z becomes del u upon del x plus I times del b upon del y. This is taken as equation number 3. Now I am going to consider this next part, because I have written there. I am going to take the two possible paths. Number 1 is delta z is along real axis. Number 2, let delta z is tending to 0 along imaginary axis. Along imaginary axis. You know, imaginary axis I have explained earlier. It is y axis. In this case, along imaginary axis, in this case, real part of z is equal to 0. You know, whenever you are going to travel on y-axis or parallel to y-axis, I am taking just y-axis. When you are going to travel on y-axis, x is always 0. So delta z is tending to 0 along imaginary axis means y-axis. So in that case, delta real part of z, that is x, is 0, because on y-axis the value of x is 0. So then z becomes I times y, and delta z becomes I times delta y. In this case, what is f dash is? F dash z is equal to limit delta z tending to 0 del u upon delta u upon delta z plus I times delta u upon delta z delta v upon delta z from 2 and this becomes, in this case, limit delta z is tending to 0, meaning thereby I times delta y tending to 0. I times delta y tending to 0 implies delta y is tending to 0. So we can write at the place of delta z tending to 0, delta y tending to 0. So I am going to write here delta y tending to 0 and in bracket delta u upon I times delta y plus I delta v upon I times delta y. Because delta z is I times delta y, here is also delta z, so delta z can be written as I times delta y. So this I and this I has cancelled, and we can write 1 upon I limit delta y is tending to 0 delta u upon delta y plus limit delta y tending to 0 delta v upon delta y, and with the help of partial differentiation we can say 1 upon I del u upon del y, del u upon del I or del v upon del y, and thus in this case f dash z is equal to 1 upon I is minus I del u upon del y plus del v upon del y. This is taken as equation number 4. Let me explain further. In the first case, I have taken delta z tending to 0 along